My name is Liam Lazarus. I'm 34, the youngest son of a Manhattan dynasty that's been silently buying slices of New York since the 70s. My siblings are sharks, Harvard MBAs, boardroom stars, the kind who make headlines in Forbes and settle lawsuits out of court. Me? I was always the quiet one, the background character, tolerated at family dinners and conveniently forgotten when the estate lawyers sent paperwork. I didn't fight for power because I didn't care, until they stripped mine without a word. One forged signature. One public humiliation. One proxy fired like trash. That was the first mistake. The second? They assumed I wouldn't bite back. And now, they have no idea who actually owns the company. The call came at 2:41 p.m. Short. Flat. No hello. They fired me. In front of everyone. Darian's voice cracked, just once, but it was enough. I pulled the phone from my ear, stared at the skyline, let the silence hold. Rain kissed the window in bursts. Midtown shimmered in the distance like a false god. What happened? My voice was ice. Wenzel. Anton Wenzel. A beat. Then, bitter. Said I was cluttering his hallway. Tossed my badge. Called me delivery boy in front of 3 execs. He knew? Pause. Liam, he said your name. Loud. That changed everything. I stood. Walked to the small liquor bar I rarely touched. 2 fingers of bourbon. No ice. Wenzel had been in the wind for a year, whispers, exits, lawsuits swept under NDAs. Now he was here. In my family's building. In my family's company. Flashing teeth while gutting what little integrity remained. I stared out at the city. People moved like ants. But some ants wore badges. Held knives. You don't fight monsters. You feed them until they rot from the inside. Darian, I said, I want everything on Wenzel. Public filings, private whispers, off-the-record complaints. Start with the Nexus boards. Already on it, he said. Then lower, you should see how he looks at the interns. Like they're appetizers. Cut to Darian, walking out of the glass lobby, cardboard box in hand, rain curling his collar. His mouth tight. A security guard half glanced at him, then looked away. Cut to Anton Wenzel, 2nd floor balcony. Laughing into a phone. Leaning against glass like he owned the city. His tie too wide. Shoes too loud. Ego too big. I zoomed in on the live CCTV feed. The courier badge clipped to Darian's coat? Mine. Registered under Lazarus Holdings. That was a breadcrumb. Wenzel had followed it. He just didn't realize he'd stepped into the wrong forest. 3 hours later, Darian sat across from me, pale from adrenaline. I placed a small tablet between us. No logos. Just a clean white screen and a folder marked Orion Nexus Strategy Proxy Transfers. Click it, I said. He did. His eyes narrowed. Then widened. You bought into them? Not yet, I said. But I'm about to. 5:09 p.m. The fire started in silence. One trade. One small purchase. A whisper, not a roar. I opened the first trust. Ran the order through Delaware. Clean. Old. Dormant until tonight. 100,000 shares. Just under reportable limits. A small ripple. Another trade. Second trust. Different brokerage. Different route. 100,000 more. No alarms yet. But soon. By the time they look up, I'll be the weather. 7:23 p.m. A text from Darian. He's in the lobby again. Just told security to keep that idiot Lazarus kid out if I show up. I smiled. My hand didn't. People like Anton think they're kings. They forget who built the castle. Or who owns the foundation. My phone buzzed again. Anonymous email. Subject line. He knows you're moving. I didn't breathe. Message. You have one shot. Don't miss. F. No signature. No trace. Just a ghost. I look back at the city. They think I'm still the quiet son. They don't see the knife under the table. He fired my proxy. Now I'll fire his future. The lock clicked behind us. Darian pulled the blinds. My war room was dark, lit only by the dim glow of 6 monitors and the faint red pulse from the router. Every sound echoed. The buzz of fluorescent light. The rasp of his jacket as he tossed it on a chair. My own breath. Silence isn't peaceful when it's loaded. I pointed at the whiteboard. It was filled with names, arrows, purchase timestamps, and color-coded shell core. One word circled 3 times, CYBRA9. Darian leaned forward. They're buying under aliases too. Multiple firms, all redirecting through the Caymans, then back into Nexus stock. They're not just watching us, they're racing us. I didn't answer. Just nodded once. Then pulled open the drawer and slid him a badge. Courier access. Full floor clearance. You start tomorrow. He blinked. You want me inside again? They don't look at the messenger, I said. They just look through them. Cut to midnight. A private server farm in Jersey. Data pulling, masked by random queries. An algorithm filtered activity across Orion Nexus's top-tier investors. One flag blinked red. Someone moved 300,000 shares in under 10 minutes, Darian whispered. That's a smoke grenade, I said. They're covering a block move. Then I saw it. Same fund name. But the LLC routing had changed. 1 digit, 1 state. Delaware, Nevada. New shell, I muttered. Smart. Illegal? Barely. Traceable? Not tonight. 3:13 a.m. Printer word. The lease contract for the courier service I'd acquired 3 weeks ago came out hot. My logo on the bottom, masked under Falstaff Logistics. I signed, date stamped, filed. Darian's employment ID was generated and printed. You just bought a company to sneak a guy into a building, he said, half impressed, half afraid. I looked at him. You either rent the floor. Or you own the stairwell. Cut scene. 7:07 a.m. Rain streaked across the tinted windows of Orion Nexus. A Mercedes pulled up. Anton stepped out, talking into his earpiece. Black trench coat. White umbrella. His body moved like a man who didn't expect resistance. Inside the lobby, Darian moved past security unnoticed. Uniform pressed, expression blank. He held a stack of sealed mail pouches and a clipboard. His steps even, calculated. Invisible. I watched from across the street. Office window. 3rd floor of an old gym. Laptop open. Surveillance feed syncing from Darian's hidden pin cam. Anton's voice crackled through the mic. If they sign the damn deal by Thursday, I'm out of here by next week. Bonus clears, I ghost. Let them choke on what's left. I leaned back. Always leave the bomb just slow enough to blame the fire. 10:42 a.m. Darian sent 3 images. First, a whiteboard reading Q4 projected, used legacy demo. Second, internal memo from Anton to marketing, sell it. Don't say it's not built. Third, a list of recently terminated engineers. Half were Darian's old team. They're selling vaporware, Darian said over the comm. The product doesn't exist. I didn't blink. Then the valuation is fake, I whispered. And the stock is artificially inflated. SEC would shred them. That's the idea. Cut to Orion Executive Lounge. Anton is pouring scotch, laughing too loud. His assistant stands stiff. Darian moves silently behind the cart, placing documents. He switches the meeting room camera to record. Audio hot. Light indicator disabled. Anton, by the time the ink's dry, the IP is theirs. I get my payout, and Nexus becomes someone else's problem. Investor, you sure the board won't block it? Anton, they're asleep. All they care about is optics. Back in the war room, I start phase 2. By aggressively, I told my broker over the burner phone. Target the float. Watch the pension funds. I want soft hands. Anyone that blinks. Price may jump. Keep it under radar. Use iceberging. 12 accounts. Rotate. Understood. I hung up. 2:17 p.m. The TV behind me flickered. Breaking, speculation swirls as Orion Nexus faces delayed robotics launch. I didn't plant the article. But someone did. And it wasn't from my side. Liam, Darian's voice snapped in. He just called a meeting. When? Tomorrow, 8 p.m. emergency board session. CYBRA Dine reps are flying in. That was 3 days earlier than expected. He's moving fast. He thinks he already won. A pause. Darian added, quieter, you sure you want to do this? I'm not here to win, I said. I'm here to dismantle. Then the line cut. Anton just scheduled an emergency board meeting. He's selling the robotics division. Tomorrow night. Then we crashed the meeting. 7:42 p.m. The lobby smelled like glass cleaner and fear. Darian adjusted the cuffs of his courier jacket and gave me a nod. We didn't speak. We didn't need to. We walked in through separate entrances. I took the elevator from the parking level. He used the service stairs. I kept my head down as the elevator climbed, floor 12, 15, 17. My heart beat louder than the old machinery. By the time I hit 20, sweat slid behind my collar. A voice once told me, silence is just noise waiting for intent. Tonight, mine was loaded. Cut to 20th floor. The hallway stretched like a corridor in a war bunker. Polished marble, corporate art, glass windows that reflected your fear back at you. 2 security guards near the boardroom didn't flinch as I passed. They didn't recognize me. They weren't paid to. 7:59 p.m. Inside the boardroom, the wolves circled. Anton Wenzel stood at the head of the table, suit perfect, smile tight. The CYBRA Dine delegation sat across, briefcases lined like weapons. They were ready for signatures. Behind them, a massive screen flickered to life, asset transfer, final review. I stepped in. No one noticed. Until the door clicked shut behind me. Excuse me, this is a closed session, Anton snapped, barely looking up. I walked forward. Calm. Deliberate. Each step a drumbeat. Is that how you greet shareholders now? I said. He turned fully then. Recognition hit like a slap. You. I placed the folder on the polished table. Opened it. One document slid out, signed, stamped, notarized. I just acquired Elias Faraday's 18.6%. Combined with existing trusts. That puts me at 51.3. No one breathed. A board member coughed. Anton's face hardened, then cracked. You're bluffing. Check the SEC filings. A CYBRA Dine rep pulled out their phone. Fingers flying. One look. His face drained. He's not bluffing. You're trying to tank this deal, Anton hissed. No, I said. I'm trying to save what's left of the company. You're nobody. A proxy. An outsider. That's the thing about being underestimated, I said. People stop watching. The screen behind him suddenly changed. A new video began to play. No sound. Anton's voice, recorded earlier, filled the room. Sell the IP, cut the engineers. Let the buyers choke on whatever they inherit. It's not about vision. It's about cash. A second clip. Different room. Anton with his assistant. Forged the Q4 performance metrics. We just needed to look solid for 2 more days. After that, it's their mess. Someone gasped. One of the board members turned pale. Another looked down at his hands. A voice murmured, "You knew the robotics division wasn't viable." Anton spun. "That's fabricated. You all know he's desperate." "No," I said, flat. "I'm calculated." Cut scene. Darian moved outside the boardroom, watching the security feed. Security stalling. Anton probably made a call. We've got maybe 10 minutes before legal shows up. More than enough. I turned to the board. You want to proceed with this vote knowing the data was manipulated, the client pipeline fake, and the valuation inflated by deception? No one answered. Because if you do, every one of your signatures becomes accessory to corporate fraud. The air cracked like glass under pressure. Anton stepped forward. You're not taking this from me. You're a footnote. No, I said. I'm the next chapter. I pulled out the motion for vote. Effective immediately, motion to remove Anton Wenzel from all executive authority. Board members looked at each other. Hesitation. Sweat. Then, one hand raised. Then another. And another. Majority. Motion passed. Anton stood frozen. His assistant's phone buzzed. She read it. Face pale. Anton, they're requesting your badge. He turned to me. Low. Furious. Voice shaking. This isn't over. I walked up to him, slow. It is for you. He lunged. Darian appeared at the door in a blur, intercepting him. Calm. Professional. Let's not add assault to your list. Anton was escorted out. The door slammed behind him. No one spoke for 5 seconds. Then the chairman finally muttered, well, that escalated. I straightened the folder. We're just getting started. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. One line. You just inherited more than stock. He left you a mess. My eyes narrowed. I looked back at the screen. Then out the window. What else did Faraday hide? The message sat like a landmine in my inbox. You just inherited more than stock. He left you a mess. I forwarded it to a ghost account, then deleted the original. Darian stepped into my office, closing the door with a soft click. You look like someone handed you a live grenade. They did, I said. And it's ticking. Cut scene. Flash of city lights outside. Horns in the distance. Inside, low light, 2 cups of untouched coffee. The projector flickered. A new file loaded. Darian leaned closer. What's that? Faraday's personal trust documents. I had them released when I took over his shares. He frowned. That wasn't in the standard asset handover. It wasn't supposed to be. I opened the attached file. Legal jargon. Pages of distributions, contingent clauses, coded beneficiaries. Then one line stopped me. Clause 19. In the event of hostile board action, the Lazarus party shall assume control of Cybercore Black Vault. I blinked. Black Vault? Darian said. What the hell is that? A pause. I don't know. 12:13 a.m. We were in the archives, sub-level 4. A floor nobody talked about. I swiped a keycard from the old Faraday vault. Dust rose in sheets. A vault door loomed at the end. Keypad. Fingerprint. Retina scan. Darian looked at me. You sure about this? No. But secrets this buried don't go stale. They ferment. The vault hissed open. Inside, dark shelves, a humming server, 2 locked drawers. A nameplate above them read, Cybercore Black Vault, access restricted. I opened the first drawer. Inside, a stack of NDAs. Files tagged Tier 4 internal R&D. And one old laptop, password locked. We didn't touch it. The second drawer was heavier. Inside, a sealed envelope. A flash drive. A photo. I lifted the picture first. Faraday. Anton. And Nolan Lazarus, my brother. My breath caught. This was 15 years ago. Nolan was in college. Darian leaned in. Wait, this is before Orion even existed. Something wasn't right. Faraday's trust didn't just contain money. It was a firewall. A dead man's switch. A twist built into the estate. And now, I had the keys. Cut scene. Back at my apartment. Rain on the windows. I poured a drink I didn't taste. The flash drive was plugged into a secure terminal. One folder. For Lazarus only. Click. A video opened. Timestamped. Low-res. Grainy. Faraday sat in a leather chair, looking thinner, older. He spoke directly to camera. If you're watching this, Liam, then you've won. Or lost. Depends on how you look at it. I didn't breathe. Cybercore Black Vault was a contingency project. Something Anton pushed when we first built Orion Nexus. A predictive behavioral system, illegal under federal privacy laws. We shelved it after whistleblower threats. But Anton. He didn't shelve anything. He sold it. The screen flickered. To military contractors. Foreign buyers. You own it now. You own all of it. I leaned back. Do what I couldn't. Kill it. Before someone uses it. I shut the video. My hands were cold. Darian stared at me. So that's what Anton was really protecting. Not the robotics, I said. The shadow pipeline. He was laundering government tech through Orion Nexus. And disguising it as commercial R&D. Darian looked pale. That's not just fraud. That's espionage. A beat. I'm sitting on a national security breach. My phone buzzed. Block number. I answered. You should have left it buried. The line went dead. No trace. Cut scene. Morning. 6:02 a.m. I opened the news feed. Breaking, FBI launches probe into Orion Nexus's classified R&D dealings. They were already on us. The door buzzed. Loud. Aggressive. Darian stepped into the hall, checking the monitor. 2 men in dark suits. Badges flashed. We need to talk. Now. The door closed behind them. 2 men in dark suits. One badge flashed. The other looked like he already regretted it. FBI, the first said. We need your executive orders, Mr. Lazarus. I didn't flinch. Rain from last night still clung to the soles of my shoes. On the way, I said. We walked through the lobby, lights bright, security eyes darting, FBI tails close behind, like shadows that don't speak. One agent handed me a folder. Complaints from the DOD, he said. Classified contract leak. We want a timeline. I took it. The weight of paper felt like a detonator in my palm. No comment until counsel arrives, I said. He frowned. I wasn't lying. Cut scene. My office. Mid-morning. The blinds half drawn. A shaft of light cut through dust. Darian was already there. Phone in hand. Eyes haunted. We pulled more files from the archive, he said. There's a secondary trust tied to Faraday's estate. Tagged Black Vault, but it's not just R&D. It's licensing data, military integration protocols, surveillance AI stack. And here's the kicker, Anthem Asset Management was listed as a co-beneficiary. Anthem. Not Cyberdyne. A bigger beast. I sank into the chair. No coffee. No breath. No wonder they never pulled the full filings, I said. That's not just corporate misconduct. That's a national security breach. Darian exhaled. Secrets are like icebergs. What's visible is only a fraction of the danger below. Something my mother once told me. I never liked the metaphor then. I felt it now. Cut scene. The phone buzzed with an encrypted ping. New message. Change the plan. They're on to Black Vault. You have 1 hour before AM clearance hits the servers. Sender, unknown. I did not send it. My pulse ticked upward. Darian watched me. What's your gut? I didn't answer. I typed a new message. Meet me at server access node 7A. Now. And sent it to him. 3:18 p.m. Server access node 7A was a secure rack room in the basement of Orion Nexus HQ. No windows. Only humming machines and blinking lights. Cold. Clean. Like a morgue that forgot what death smells like. I stepped inside. Darian was already there, crouched over a terminal. Anton's built a failsafe, he said. If someone accesses Black Vault outside authorized hours, it triggers a data lockout. We get one shot. I frowned. Who authorized him to build a failsafe on stuff that never went live? His name was on the original DoD contract. That was worse than I thought. Anton never hid the vault. He built a fortress and kept the key. The terminal asked for credentials. My thumb hovered over the scanner. Go, Darian said. I placed my thumb down. It accepted. Then froze. The screen blinked. Access denied. A red banner flashed. Lockdown initiated. No. 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 I slammed my palm down. The lights flickered. The hum dropped out. Then a voice. Slow. Familiar. You really think I'd make it that easy? Anton stepped out of the shadows, sleeves rolled, tie loosened, eyes burning with that manic grin. You're not the only Lazarus with tricks up his sleeve. My breath went cold. I hadn't expected him back. Not here. Not now. He advanced. Not flinching. Not slow. Not emotional. Just walking. Like a man who already believed he'd won. Drop it, I said. What? The claws? The trust? The FBI breathing down our necks? He laughed. Cut scene. 2 feet. 1 heartbeat. And then a slow-motion shift. He pulled a small device from his palm. Something no one should have. A bypass key. This gets me every vault. Everywhere. Multi-factor override. He winked. A camera somewhere blinked. We didn't know which. Darian stepped in front of me. Nice toy, he said, jaw tight. Shame it's useless now. Anton tilted his head. Is it? He tapped the side of the device. And then screens around the server room lit up. Panels unlocked. Drawers slid open. A floor beneath us shifted. Cold air. A new corridor revealed. There's more, Anton said. Much more. His phone buzzed. A text preview cracked across the screen. AM clearance engaged. Black Vault will default to full access in 30 minutes. He looked at me. That's your clock. I looked at Darian. His eyes were steel. Not anymore. Twisting the room like a knife. Anton smiled. Let's make this interesting. Suddenly the lights died. Total darkness. Just the servers breathing. Then a single corridor light flickered on, revealing 3 figures stepping out. Black suits. Authority badges clipped. Not FBI. Not Anthem. Someone else. Someone deeper. One voice cut through the dark. You are in violation of federal data access protocols. Stand down. The voice was calm. Too calm. And the person speaking stepped forward. A woman. Her face reflected in the cold steel. Recognition hit like gunfire. Director Nolan Lazarus, she said. Not my brother. Somebody else. Someone with clearance. Someone I never knew existed. And she wasn't here to negotiate. The lights came back one strip at a time. Cold white. Surgical. The woman stood between Anton and the servers, badge catching the glow. Director Nolan Lazarus, not my brother, not blood, but close enough to twist the knife. Federal authority wrapped in calm. The kind that doesn't raise its voice because it doesn't have to. Step away from the equipment, she said. Anton laughed. Too loud. You're late. She didn't look at him. She looked at me. Mr. Lazarus. You've inherited a classified liability. Darian shifted. I raised a hand. Still. There's a difference, I said, between inheriting a liability and exposing a crime. She steadied me. The servers hummed. Somewhere, a clock ticked. Then expose it, she said. Cleanly. Cut scene. Glass doors. Cameras. Flashbulbs. The building's atrium filled with press, regulators, and suits who'd never stood this close to the truth. The air smelled like ozone and perfume. Fear, dressed well. I walked to the podium. Darian at my shoulder. Director Lazarus a step behind. Anton in cuffs, flanked by agents, face gray. I remembered a line an old mentor used to mutter when deals went bad: power doesn't shout. It waits. I waited. Good evening, I said. I'm Liam Lazarus, majority shareholder and acting chair of Orion Nexus. A ripple. Whispers. Phones lifted. Tonight, we're filing mandatory disclosures with the SEC, the DOJ, and the appropriate oversight committees. I paused. We're also freezing all assets tied to Cybercore Black Vault. A reporter shouted, "Isn't that a national security platform?" It was an illegal one, I said. And it ends now. Cut scene. A screen lit behind me. Documents scrolled. Timelines. Emails. Signatures. The room went quiet as the story assembled itself. Anton's voice played, measured, greedy. Sell the shadow. Call it innovation. Another clip. A shell company ledger. Another. A licensing bridge no one should have crossed. I watched faces change. Disbelief to understanding to anger. That's the order. People confuse complexity with inevitability, I said. They think if something's hidden well enough, it becomes untouchable. It doesn't. It becomes evidence. Director Lazarus stepped forward. The government will assume temporary custodianship. There will be arrests. The word landed. Arrests. Cut scene. Handcuffs clicked. Anton tried to speak. No one listened. He was escorted past the cameras, shrinking with every step. He looked at me once. There was no hate left. Only calculation failing. Darian exhaled. Long shaky. You okay? I asked. He nodded. I kept thinking of something you said. About stairwells. I smiled, thin. Elevators break. Stairs don't. Cut scene. Boardroom. Morning light. Coffee untouched. We voted. Clean. Fast. Orion Nexus would survive. Not because it deserved to, but because people did. Engineers rehired. Budgets restored. Compliance rebuilt from the bones up. I stepped back from day-to-day control. Appointed a CEO with scars and patience. Darian took logistics. He hated the title. Loved the work. I kept the chair. Not the gavel. Cut scene. A quiet street. A small cafe. Steam from a cup. The city breathing. A text buzzed. Anonymous. Northgate Robotics. Security bids don't line up. I tacked back one word, received. A thought followed me, something my father never understood. Justice isn't loud. It's consistent. You don't roar at the jungle. You change the weather. I watched a delivery driver hold an elevator door for a woman with a stroller. A man in a suit snapped at him. The driver didn't flinch. I paid my bill. Stood. The game doesn't end. It just changes rooms. And somewhere, someone is always holding the keys.